Well, hello everyone. I'm wearing a bright red lipstick today and I'm feeling it even though I'm not going anywhere. And even if I were, I'd be wearing a mask. I don't care. I miss lipstick. Does anyone else miss it? Like, I miss it. And if you're wearing it with a mask, how are you doing it? Like, isn't it all over the back of the mask? I have so many questions. So today I'm doing a video I do pretty much monthly here on my channel. It's an anti-haul and wishlist video. It's where I just drink coffee and I find some new things that have launched on Sephora and Ulta and the drugstore. I like doing these. It's just kind of a fun way to just chat about new releases and kind of window shop together. I want to know what you guys are eyeing right now. Are there any new releases coming out that you're like, ooh, but maybe. Let's start in the drugstore because those are the things, there are a few things I've already added to my Ulta cart that I'm like, when this video is done, I'm going to actually purchase. So the first one is a new mascara. Ooh, baby. So L'Oreal launched this new mascara called Air Volume Mega Mascara. On Ulta site, it's $13.99. Right now, they have like buy one, get one 50% off, which is why I'm buying it through Ulta. A lot of times I'll find brands like L'Oreal way cheaper at an actual drugstore, like in person, or even on like Target's website. So that's something to keep in mind. But sometimes when Ulta has like these kind of BOGO sales, it actually is a pretty good deal. So I'm getting 2 L'Oreal items, so you'll find out what the other one is here in a second. But this is described, it's almost ridiculous the way they describe it. They're saying it's a new evolution of mega lash volume that inflates and puffs up lashes just like a hot air balloon. And it puffs them up and you just start floating away. But it says it feels light as air. I'm pumped about this, y'all. I love volume. And I think the reason I've liked the L'Oreal Lash Paradise mascara so much is because it does feel kind of lightweight and feathery, and that's what I like. So I'm like, I tend to really enjoy L'Oreal mascaras. I also like their Bambi Eye mascara. So this one's on the list. I think I'm going to get it in Blackest Black. The brush itself looks like the kind of brush I like. That's like the kind of more natural bristle and baby. And of course the metallic light pink packaging doesn't hurt either. So the other L'Oreal thing I think I'm going to get, where's the tab? There it is. It's their Eyeliner Signature Mechanical Eyeliner. I don't even know if this is new, if I'm being honest. I was actually on L'Oreal's site, like the actual brand's website, looking at their new arrivals, because sometimes it's confusing on like Ulta and stuff. So I was on the actual brand site and I saw this and I was like, wait, but the packaging is so pretty. It's got like this, let me see if I can zoom in. Yeah, it's got like this beautiful textured golden lid, and as shallow as it sounds, I don't care because I want it for that reason. I actually do use a mechanical eyeliner just to tight line my eye on quick days, and that's it for liner. On other days like today, I'll tight line with that kind of a liner and then I'll go on with like a liquid liner, which is what I did. Right now I'm using one from Maybelline I really like. It's a matte one, but I'm gonna be out of it soon. And I was like, well, I like it enough, I would repurchase, but I also like trying new stuff. So this is on the list. It's already in my cart. I'm definitely gonna buy it too. If you're wondering what I'm wearing on my lips, by the way, it is the Milk Makeup OG Red. I actually just vlogged about it for a vlog that I think would be already up on my channel by now, but it's just like the most perfect red and it doesn't make your teeth look yellow. I'm just really hoping it's not like all over my teeth, but I think we're good. So speaking of liner, Milani released the Tank liquid liner. It's a waterproof liner. I'm really loving my Physicians Formula one that's waterproof. They're like eye booster liner, but I'm almost out of it. And I thought, again, I would totally repurchase, probably eventually will repurchase, but I love Milani and this just looks good. So it's described as it's like a tank. It's long wear, it's waterproof. It's apparently the way the cap is designed, it says it won't dry out. So you'll actually get to use like 99% of the product before it dries out. I'm like, how do you do that? I mean, I feel like all of them are made that way. Maybe they're not, I don't know. Either way, I'm pumped and I definitely prefer a waterproof liquid liner. And that's why I've been really enjoying the Physicians Formula one. I have to say though, I like the Physicians Formula packaging better than this Milani stuff. And usually Milani is all over the packaging, but this one's just kind of boring. Not that it matters, I know, but I know I'm not alone in my shallowness. So Neutrogena, a brand I don't talk about too often on my channel, they released these new primer serums. And it looks like there are 3 different ones in the line. They're kind of pricey. They're $17.99, which I'm like, if it's also got good skincare in it, as they're claiming, then that's kind of a nice, 2-in-1 type product. So the one I think I might buy, might being the keyword here, is their Healthy Skin Radiant Primer and Serum. So the Radiant one. It says it's got peptides in it, and it's just that hybrid between a serum and primer. It makes your skin look more radiant. It's got pearl pigments in it. I like radiant primers. That's typically what I go to anyway if I'm using a primer. But the other ones they have a glow one, which has hyaluronic acid, so it's a little bit more like actually hydrating. And then they also have a mattifying one for shine control, and it has rice protein in it. So the packaging is like a little dropper, so it really is more like a serum in that way. So again, I think I would only buy this if I were like really dying to try a new primer and it was on sale, because I'm not paying nearly $20 for it. I'm just not gonna do it. So there you go. We are flying through. Slow down, Jessie. I feel like I'm either telling myself to speed up or slow down. By the way, this white top, guys, I finally found a white top that's not insanely see-through. I know. I am wearing like a beige colored bra with it, so that helps, but it's a little bit thicker than most of the other white shirts I've like ever owned. So it's from Target, Universal Thread. I'm sure they're still selling it. It's just that little bit thicker so I can actually wear it. I literally just don't wear white shirts because I'm like, I just can't. They're too see-through. How have we not talked about this, guys? The Hocus Pocus collection from Colourpop. What? So it's exciting, right? Listen. I'm looking through it. I looked through it really a few weeks ago. The palette is pretty, but I won't use it enough. I love Hocus Pocus, like most of us do. I love it. I love that movie. I love the nostalgia of it. It makes me think of my childhood. It's so Halloween-y and fall-y. It's lovely. So my advice to myself and to you, if you've been eyeing it, and at this point, we're halfway through October anyway, but if you've been eyeing it just because you love Hocus Pocus, but you're really not finding anything that's like jumping out at you, just appreciate it for what it is. How fun that a makeup brand is doing a collection focused on Hocus Pocus. Whoa, that was a lot of focus, Hocus Pocus. It doesn't mean you have to buy it. So appreciate it for what it is. We're just window shopping here, but you don't need to own it. I don't need to own it. I looked through, I'm like, yeah, maybe I'll get the red lipstick, but I'm like, do I really need a red lipstick just because it's Hocus Pocus? Not necessarily. And this is one of those things, because I'm such a Disney nerd too, so many Disney collections come out all the time, and I used to get so overwhelmed. I'm like, I need to try them all. Like, I just love Disney. But I finally hit a point a few years ago that I was like, Jessica, you can appreciate that they're doing Disney collections and like them, but if you don't need them or want to try them, you don't have to get them, you know? But I do think it's really fun, and the packaging is cute, and I love. We haven't watched Hocus Pocus yet this year. It's gotta happen soon. The last Colourpop one we'll talk about is their That's Taupe line. And really, I'm only eyeing the eyeshadow palette. The rest of it all looks fine and dandy, but I really am just looking at the eyeshadow palette. A lot of people are saying it's awfully similar, and I agree, to the Natasha Denona Glam eyeshadow palette. That's $65. And that one is one, I think in my last anti-haul last month, I was saying like, I really don't need it, but it's one that I really might buy because I would use so many of those shades. And this is the very first Natasha Denona palette I've felt this way about, that I'm like, oh my gosh, like I would actually personally use a lot of those. Definitely more cooler tone. So going back to the Colourpop one, if you were dying for the Natasha Denona colors or that vibe, maybe try the Colourpop one out. It's $14 versus $65. It doesn't have as many shades, but again, it's got a lot. I'm not gonna buy both. I can tell you that right now. It just wouldn't make sense to me. I do think the That's Taupe packaging is cute with like the snake skin. I think that's very appropriate with the colors they've got going on. Anastasia released a new mini Soft Glam palette. So it's their Soft Glam 2 mini eyeshadow palette. It's $29. It's got 8 shades. Here's the thing. I ended up decluttering my Soft Glam palette a year or so ago because I had that in the Sultry palette, and I felt like I used the Sultry palette more, but I loved both of them. They were both lovely. I really like the shades they picked for this, because the two mixing shades I liked the most in the Soft Glam that I was sad to not have anymore was Dusty Rose and Orange Soda, which are at the top right of this palette. But then they've got the beautiful like light shimmers. They also have that bottom left color. I can't read what that shade name is. So I actually feel like I would use pretty much all these colors. The darker ones I would use for like liner. That's about it. I wouldn't really use them elsewhere on my own eyes. Came out weird. Anyway, so again, this is kind of a putting a pin in it, thinking about it. Again, do I really need it? No. But I like the idea that it's smaller. Again, I'm all about those small palettes. If you want to know what my favorite small palettes are, both drugstore, high-end, all of it, I did a video recently, and there's so many amazing like quads at the drugstore that people aren't talking about that I just love. I'm really not doing an anti-haul here, am I? What am I doing? Do I have anything I'm not buying? Let's do one I'm not gonna get, that I'm not interested in. So this is from Marc Jacobs. I think it's their, it's their Very Merry Cherry collection. So it's their holiday collection. I will probably do like a holiday focused video in the future on like gift sets and stuff, and like special limited release items. If you'd be interested, let me know. It's just in my head too early. I'm not ready for Christmas yet, so I can't get there emotionally yet. But going to this, the cherry idea is interesting because you look at it and not really think it's Christmas, which is why I had to check. But at least they're doing something different, right? They're getting creative. I don't know. This is one I just know myself. I will not use probably 4 of those 7 shades, the 4 on the right. I wouldn't use them enough. And I actually like pinky shades, but I like them to be lighter on my eyes. And these are just a little deeper than what I would use. So I don't have the interest. I tend to like Marc Jacobs shadows themselves though, like the actual quality. So if this were totally up your alley, I do think the formula of the shadows is good, assuming this is the same as normal. Also, little PSA, I just learned that Charlotte Tilbury now has a mini version of their Film Star Bronze and Glow Duo, which is like a little bronzy contoury shade and then more of like a lighter highlight shade. I actually really like that product. I have the full size. I've had it for a couple years. And every time I use it, it looks perfect. Like it's one of those that all just blends in so beautifully. So if you've been eyeing it, this would be a way to save, I don't know, like 20-ish, 30-ish bucks off of the original price. I feel like that would be an awesome way to own this and get to try it and love it and not pay that high price tag. So Supergoop, who makes the glow screen, I really enjoy. It's an SPF, but it's really glowy. So it kind of serves as my SPF, glowy primer, and moisturizer all in one, which is incredible. They just released this CC screen. Smart. And it is a CC cream with that same SPF 50. So they have different shades because it really is, my understanding, it's supposed to be like a tinted moisturizer. So there should be a little bit of coverage. I will probably buy this. This is one that I'm like, dude, this is right up my alley. I love that kind of coverage typically. And I love that there's like, it's genuinely should be like an SPF. I don't know, you know, depending on how much you put on, would it be enough SPF coverage? I'd have to mess with it. I don't know. But looking at the shades, I'd probably be 105 in. So this whole new brand, Makeup by Mario, just launched. And I just picked the eyeshadow palettes to talk about because that was the thing that kind of jumped out at me. He released like quite a bit of things. So that's something to keep in mind if you really like him as a makeup artist. It's definitely worth looking into. It's still expensive, like most of the brands at Sephora. So these eyeshadow palettes are $48. There's a Master Mattes palette that is all matte. Kind of reminds me, not exactly, but like my Viseart palette I used to have that was all matte. Problem is, I loved those shadows. I just don't use matte shadows that much. And these colors are all, the browns are so similar. I mean, they're different tones and different leanings, you know, warm or cool, but they're not different enough that for someone that doesn't use a lot of eyeshadow, I definitely wouldn't use this enough. Then he has the Master Metallics palette, also $48. Beautiful. Like I feel like these would probably all be one and done shadows. Like you could just pick the pink and do that as your whole look if you wanted. But again, some of them are awfully similar and I just wouldn't use it enough, but I can appreciate that these are pretty. I'd be interested to swatch these and play with these someday. You know, if things were more normal and we could actually swatch these in store, and who knows if that'll ever come back, or if it will, it'll probably be far in the future. But I'd love to swatch these and kind of feel them because I bet they're really, really silky and pigmented, but definitely not planning on picking those up. Okay, I hate to say that I want this. Okay, I love Hourglass powders. I like their blushes. I like their bronzers. I like a lot from the brand, okay? And actually my mascara is the Hourglass Unlocked mascara and I'm really enjoying it. It's like a tubing mascara. Okay, so they released their darn limited edition face palettes and I wish they would just make them not limited edition because they're releasing basically the same palette every year. I mean, that's just the truth. And people have done comparisons and they are awfully similar. It's like, just make it permanent. Like it just seems silly. I'm sure there's science. I'm sure they're making more money doing it this way. I don't know. But I just wish they would make one of them freaking permanent because these are pretty. So the $80 one is their Ambient Lighting Face Palette Sculpture. That's the one I'm not interested in. I'm interested in the one that is $58 and it's their Mini Ambient Lighting Edit Sculpture Unlocked. I don't know how mini this is. So that's my biggest fear is that it's too tiny. But I would use all of these colors. The bronzer looks beautiful. It's that blush color that gets me every time I see this, like on the screen or like I'm scrolling through Facebook and you know how they're just throwing ads at you. That color of blush is so gorgeous to me. It always catches my eye. So I'm like, And then there's the highlight. I don't know that top shade, if it would be more of like a finishing powder for me. It might be too dark. I really am probably gonna get that. I don't often buy limited edition. I know that drives some people nuts. I get it. There's no winning with with that. Like you either share limited edition stuff that no one can get and people are upset, or you don't and then people are upset. So it just is what it is. But this is one that this is just like straight up for me. I want this. But another face palette that is kind of new is the Dior Backstage Glow face palettes, $45. Now they've already had this around and there were like a couple shades that were already out. So there was like their classic one that had the pink, the bronzer, and then another highlighter depending on your skin tone. And I think they had one other one. Anyway, so they've released new ones and I have to say I've been dying to try one of these. This has been like on my radar for a long time. But the gold one, the pure gold one, I don't think I'd use enough. It's like all highlighters and one of them super yellow and it just wouldn't look right on my skin. But this other one that's called Rose Gold has more like pinky tones to it. So there'd be like a blush and then some really just a bunch of highlighters. But again, do I really need that many highlighters? Probably not. The next one's more bronzy. It's called Copper Gold. Again, gorgeous, but would I really use all four of those shades? Don't think so. So then I'm back to the original one they've had available forever that I always go back and forth on. So none of them are just right for me, I guess is my thing. I'm excited that they're expanding the range because maybe eventually they'll expand it and there'll be one quad that'll be just right for me. So Nude Sticks released, I haven't heard anyone talk about this. It's their Nude Fix Cream Concealer. Now listen, I love concealer. If I'm putting on makeup, I'm wearing concealer. Like it is so rare. If not, I don't think it ever happens. I never skip the concealer step because I just have really dark inner corner, you know, and I just love it. I just love it. Looking at the shade range, they do not have a lot. I would probably for myself go with Nude 2. I tend to avoid going too light in concealer because I don't want it to look super bright. I want it to be closer to my skin tone. And I think Nude 3 might be a little too warm. So I think I might add that to basket because I just love a good concealer and I love trying new ones. Another one I'm just throwing on, I actually didn't plan to talk about. I might also add to my cart the Rare Beauty Liquid Blush. I love liquid blush and it's the Selena Gomez line. I haven't bought anything from the line and so I've just been kind of eyeing it. I don't know what color though. I feel like Bliss probably, but see, I don't want matte. I think I want dewy. So I just watched Selena Gomez put it on and talk about it. First of all, she's like the most chill personality. I'm realizing I've never really just like watched her talk very much. Do you ever have celebrities that you're like, I wish we could totally be best friends? Anyway, wow, so now I need that blush. Dang it, their marketing worked. I'm trying to figure out what she used in it. It didn't say, but she said she likes the matte, and so I think it was the Bliss one. So that's what I'm gonna get. Okay. So that's everything. I love doing these videos. I hope you enjoy them still too. You know, I don't want to ever wear this out to the point where you guys are like, okay, I'm tired of them. So let me know your thoughts. If you want me to adjust these videos in any way, if there's something I can do to improve them, of course, let me know as well. I'm open to that. And I hope that you'll subscribe and join our happy little corner of the internet. I do upload 3 videos a week. I feel like I say the same thing every time and some of you guys are like mouthing along with me. I do beauty, but I also do lifestyle and cooking and vlogging and all kinds of other stuff. I do switch that up sometimes, so I might have thrown some of you guys off. I love you all. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye.